Hello, 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 and welcome to the Blind Tag Wrestling Podcast AEW Review for April 28th, 2021 edition of AED. That's what I need, some ADD. Would it be good? AED Dynamite?
Yes.
Because that is exactly what you're going to get. I'm just telling you, you're getting an AEW review, but you know what you're really getting. And let me tell you, she's already giggled a little bit, so she gets like a 10-yard penalty for that.
Aww.
But that's okay because... Yeah, exactly. And I'm your host, John Hawkins, and as always, you've already heard her, I am joined by the reader of your cards to color in your dreams. Her favorite holds are always barred, and she's a salty shade of sweet. The cohort of shady retorts, the lovely and mysterious Swiss Miss Raja. Hello. Raja. What's up?
Those just keep getting better and better.
You think do you like that one better than the long one from the proper show?
I don't know. It's hard to compare them. They're all great.
Well, thank you. You know what else is great? Facebook.com/BT Wrestling Pod. On Twitter, it's at BT Wrestling Pod. On Instagram, guess what?
What?
It's BT Wrestling Pod. And if you are a nice, kind soul that wants to find your way to heaven, I have it on good authority that right now, not only will you get a free pass into heaven, no matter what your sins are, this is excluding murder in the state of Nebraska, but you also can bring a friend. That's right, Fins. You and a friend straight to heaven. All you have to do is give any amount on the Patreon to help us pay for all this equipment we have no fucking idea how to use.
Yes.
And we are pure examples of that right now. Once again, as my mouth touches the $1,000 microphone, and we are looking at this board that has all kinds of digital computerized stuff that we don't use correctly. and
We're trying our best.
And to top it all, our MacBook Pro, we were going to hardwire in, but our adapter's too big. So if it's a bad stream, guess what? You'll get over it, and you can wait for the hard edition that comes through on the podcast feed. That's okay. See, these things happen.
Yes, they do.
When you're trying. And the thing about trying, just like a Dark Order member throwing punches in the air, that can eventually turn into one of the most elite groups in professional wrestling.
There you go.
So
as long as you're trying,
that's it.
You'll get there eventually.
Right now we are ground and pounding Mr. Air. But
we're just missing it all.
All you know coming up is going to be some good stuff. I mean, we are not as bad as some, psychic dude falling off the top rope in his debut. But
poor guy.
These things happen. And listen, that's the fun of it. It's an AEW review. It's all good, man. It is absolutely 100% all good. Before we get into the review, though, I had a couple of tids and bits that I want to talk about.
Tidbits on the review.
Exactly. I couldn't help myself because those NXT numbers.
Oh, man.
Those NXT unopposed numbers.
Yeah.
I just had to talk about them a little bit because I started seeing all this stuff. I wasn't really paying attention, and I had on the tweet machine earlier, wrestling Twitter.
Right.
And I was seeing all this defensive things with people with, names like WWE Cena Fan 2 and all this stuff talking about the demo. And I thought only we talked about the demo.
Right.
I thought that was our defensive thing.
Yeah.
But no, it was like demo.
They just kept putting demo on there.
It was all about the demo. But let me tell you about that demo. NXT finished 11th on the cable charts with a .22 rating, slightly down from last week's .23. And that matched the number that NXT's Tuesday debut drew 2 weeks ago. So it's actually a good demo. That's 1834. It was up from the previous week, while everything else either stayed the same or went down. NXT finished 6th overall with men 18 to 49. And some of the numbers, individual categories, was kind of crazy. They lost a lot, people 50 plus.
Oh.
So that was down 12.2%.
That's like their thing.
Well, the biggest loss was actually in females from age 12 to 34, which I can attest to. So that was
because they know they're wrestling.
That was down 22.2% from last week.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. So there was no NXT and chill. There was just the chill.
They were just waiting for AEW.
That was it, man. That was it. just being, I'm not going to be completely mean about it. It's just kind of funny sometimes, these things. Tony Khan had commented on a recent deal between the NHL. And, of course, the first thing that happened is everybody and their brother started putting out these, NXT was originally going to have to move from Wednesday night. That was the big thing. But guess who got the deal? It ended up being Turner. It ended up being them that got the deal with NHL, and NHL likes to put their main games on Wednesday nights.
Right.
So everybody was like, oh, no, they're going to move Dynamite.
Right.
So Tony Khan came out, and he was on Busted Open Radio, and he, went in there and said, I know Wednesday night is our slot and our home, he said. I'm thrilled with our partnership with TNT. It's the lifeblood of our company and our primary revenue source, and it's the way most fans get exposed to AEW and see our show. And tonight and every night that we do Dynamite, for a lot of wrestling fans, it's a really important night of the week. So I want everyone to be rest assured that they're not going to have to worry about these kinds of major, things. We have a time slot, we have a contract, and it's 2.5 years left for it on Wednesday nights in this slot. And he says, interestingly enough, if there was ever an opportunity to move, or if there was a deal to be had, I would consider it. If we did something, it would have to be a very good deal for AEW. And it'd have to make sense for us. As it stands right now, that's the spot we're in. If we move, I would certainly consider a deal if there was something in it for AEW. Now, the deal that happened was NHL and Turner Sports announced a 7-year media rights deal. And it'll see NHL games air on both TNT and TBS beginning in the 2021-22 season. And it's no indication yet, because the deal's really, the ink is still wet.
Right.
So there's no indication of how that's going to go. But the thing is this, AEW has outperformed every estimate. In fact, that's why they got that big, long deal.
Mm-hmm.
So if they came to me and they're like, look, man, we'll give you a 10-year deal and we'll pay you, $50 billion, whatever.
Right.
You guys have been doing great. We'd like you to move opposite Raw. I mean, the problem with that, and I know that excites people, the Monday Night Wars.
Right.
But that's the one thing that Tony Khan has been adamant about since the first. And it's not because of Raw, because he could care less. I really think right now you could beat Raw. To be honest, I think you could take the wrestling fans on Monday night that would like to see something entertaining.
Yeah. Raw's not doing great.
And I think it would hurt overall the whole product. I think that would pull a lot of people, because people that are fans of WWE that have never watched AEW would see those ratings and go, oh my God, that must put butts in seats, Tony Schiavone. And, they would turn it over there. But Tony Khan has been adamant, as I said, from the first, because, not Raw, in the NFL. Because, he does happen to own a little thing called the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Right.
Or the family does.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
So, with Jacksonville, you're not going to do that. You're not going to potentially go against your own stuff, right? And go against the NFL. So that makes that hard. It also makes it hard for Thursday nights, because they have a lot of Thursday night NFL games.
Yeah.
And, so I think that makes it a hard thing. I don't know who in the blue moon would ever want to be on Friday nights. Friday night traditionally is a bad night to try to do TV. Fridays and Saturdays are known as date nights. So 6:05 on a Saturday night is cool if you're on TBS. Like if they were like, okay, look, we're going to give you 6:05. I know it's not prime time, but it's 6:05 for 2 hours on Saturday night. I would be kind of hard not to do that,
Right.
I've been hoping that was the second show.
Right.
Was going to go old school, and, Cody Rhodes would get to go back to the show his dad made famous producing in the back.
That would be cool.
It would be cool, man. I know a lot of people have done the gimmick, right? They've tried doing the gimmick and reliving that. But if you really were on TBS and it was really 6:05 on a Saturday night, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
And even like, I don't know what they do with the Techwood studio now. I don't know if it's still even standing. But if that old damn studio was still in existence and it was like a broom closet now, I would clear the damn thing out.
You just want it to go all the way back.
Can you imagine seeing the guys in that little studio?
That would be awesome.
And over in the corner, you have, like Excalibur standing there with, did we put JR on? I don't think we put JR on that show.
Probably not.
I think he'd be too salty on Saturday night. I think he'd be putting his hog, you know, he'd be standing there with no pants.
Oh no.
So what's that all about? I mean, seriously. I don't know why I went on Lance Storm there. What's that about?
He just went all Canadian all of a sudden.
It was the JR Hog turned to be Canadian.
It was the shock.
It was shocking. Oh, it's like, you know, brother is sitting there by himself on the Jacksonville beach, and he's just like popping a blue chew, and he's waiting like an hour, and he's like, "I'm gonna take a picture now." That's right. I'm gonna take. It sure was a nice day out here. I'm all alone, but you know.
Cody's in the chat.
Oh.
Hashtag. Can we say that on YouTube?
No, let's try to stay monetized.
Okay.
We're going to stay monetized if possible. You know how that stuff goes. But hey, there was something else that came out. Aubrey Edwards noted that Brody Lee will be eligible to be drafted to the rosters of AEW's Elite GM mobile game.
Ooh.
And she said, yes, Brody Lee is someone you can draft to your roster in Elite GM. His art was already made before his passing. I asked Amanda Huber if we could keep him in the game, and she was absolutely cool with leaving him in. Little Brody wanted him to stay in as well. So, pretty cool.
Of course you want to see your dad in a video game.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, it's kind of a cool thing that you can do that.
Yeah.
You know, just as a nod, right?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, me, personally, I can't wait to play the GM game.
I know you can't.
Like, I mean, playing a game as Booker... If they would just put that on like a next gen system, I would be cool with it forever. So I may just quit everything, you know.
Just become a pretend Booker.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty crazy. So let's go from that. I think it's time. Let's get into the show tonight. The show was honestly, I thought it was going to be a get to the next thing show.
Yeah, it was a little weak on the lead in there.
That's what I thought, but it wasn't weak at all.
No.
It was fucking fantastic.
No, when it happened,
yeah,
it wasn't weak at all.
It was fantastic. But where do we go here? What happened?
So we opened the show with a classic Hangman Page match. And he faced off against Brian Cage tonight because he's had that whole Team Taz heat going on. So basically, Brian Cage attacked him before the match started and put a beat down on him before the bell even rung. Right. So he had the advantage leading in, which was super unfair.
Well, I mean, I tell you, it was a good brawl to start it off because normally, you know, I think that's how we go off the air. I think it's one of those things that has to happen these days. But they had the brawl to start off. Brian Cage, let's just call a spade a spade. Brian Cage looked like he went to the Rich Swann School of Self-Defense.
Yeah, a little bit.
They're about 5 minutes in. He was really thinking that he'd like collapse lungs and stuff. And talk about Swolverine.
Yeah.
What's been going on with that? Have you noticed that recently? It's like he's been looking like one of those little African kids on the commercial. You know, like when they're really skinny. I used to wonder when I was a kid. Because I would ask Mom, I'd be like, if they haven't ate, why is their belly sticking out so far? And she's like, well, that's what happens when they're really hungry. That always freaked me out. I was like, isn't that weird? Like you can't win either way.
Yeah.
It's like you're either eating too much and getting like that.
Your poor little child brain couldn't handle it.
Well, it's like the Arn Anderson abs, man. Back when I was a kid, Arn Anderson had abs and a beer belly. I never understood that.
I guess some people just can't get rid of it.
I thought brother was like really lifting some beer. You know what I mean? That was some good stuff, but that's what Swolverine's been looking like here recently.
A little bit, and he did look very tired there near the end.
Yeah, I'd say
like
so.
He was having trouble keeping up.
I would say so. I mean, I don't know if he like did too big of a cycle, got the needle stuck or what it was, but he was definitely I mean, it wasn't Rich Swann level.
No.
Rich Swann looked like he just wanted to quit life.
But to be fair, this match only lasted a few minutes.
Yeah.
Rich Swann's did not.
Yeah, and hey, listen, I'm not taking away from the match was actually good.
Yeah.
It was
a banger.
It was actually good. There was some violence and
it looked like Hangman died a couple of times.
No, just a couple. Just be fair about it. Taz was on, commentary on the match saying normal Taz stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it was good, though. Brian Cage, defeating Hangman, which was the big shocker.
That was quite the shock. Like, Hangman's been on such a roll, and he's the #1 contender.
Yeah.
And then Brian Cage comes in there and just,
well,
whoop.
Yeah, whoop, there it is.
Whoop,
is that what
there
you're
it
saying?
is.
I mean, really, all joking aside, man, you had the big fight on the floor with it, back suplex on the apron. I mean, it was crazy stuff, and Cage taunting Page, and it was really good stuff, man. It really was. And
It was.
I was happy with it, but it was so short. They only went like 5-6 minutes.
Yeah.
And, got the win. That shocked the hell out of me because it shocked me for a couple of reasons. Maybe that's why the brawl happened at the first, because a lot of times your banger of an opener, which is every week, is like a 20-minute match. Mm-hmm. They've been doing that over and over and over. It's like the work rate match.
Yeah. Well, I imagine that's why the powerbomb on the ramp happened, because to give a reason to why Hangman wasn't 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, after this, it went to something I love, and I got to talk about this. So we had a little vignette with the Elite, and they were in a limousine celebrating after Omega's title victory, and Omega said that he used, he's used to people trying to ruin their lives. And, he's after Moxley and Kingston destroyed the trailer, they're not going to be intimidated. They're not going to be scared. And the best thing ever, man. So a horn goes off, and they all jump. And my favorite part of this is the fact, oh, my God, how bad of an actor Doc Gallows is. So it was funny anyway. It was a great little comedy thing. Hey, we're not going to be scared. Knock accidentally hits the horn.
They all freak out.
They all piss their pants. But it's like, literally, if you go back and watch it, there's probably a good 10 seconds before Doc reacts. He
doesn't know what's going on.
And then he doesn't just react. He reacts like the enhancement talent girl that works on Dark every week. And
Tasha Price.
Tesha.
With an E.
Tesha with an E. Rebel, not Reba. So Tesha with an E. She's something, guys. All right.
She is indeed.
I'm trying to be nice about how I say this. All right. Her facials are priceless.
They are. And
her screams are priceless. So much so, I find myself getting drawn into it, thinking about different things I could put her in. and just to see the sale.
She's a great actress.
I think that's what I'm thinking of, is movies and, different things like that of what kind of sell that could be. But mark my words, Tesha Price will be All Elite.
Yes.
And you're going to see it. And you know what's going to get her there? Is that sell.
Yeah.
That sell, one way or another, one way or another, that sell is going to get her there. I love her. It's great.
So Doc Gallows pulled a Tesha Price.
Doc Gallows pulled a Tesha Price. Speaking of the front row people, I have to give a little shout out to my boy, Dylan McQueen.
Yes.
Okay, if you see the gorgeous blonde guy standing there, sometimes he's got a suit on. Other times he's just wearing something random, out wearing other people. And,
he always looks fabulous.
He's the guy over there with the size.
Yes.
That makes him look like a professional wrestler. And he's got the guns. It makes him look like a pro wrestler. Mm-hmm. He's got that movie star look that makes him look like just saying here. This happens to be somebody I'm very high on. And he is one of my close friends. I love this kid. And he has not only trained with the best, he kept going and going and going. At this point, I think he shows up at like a school and people are like, dude, seriously.
We can't teach you anything
seriously,
else.
Dude, we get it. All right? We get it. You're trained. And then that should be his gimmick. It's like Dylan McQueen. I've went through 42 schools.
I know everything.
Everything.
You can't surprise me.
The ultimate student. It's like the man of 1,000 schools. But
oh, man.
I love it. And he's worked. This is the modern day how you work your ass off, territory to territory. You school to school to. I mean,
right,
seriously.
Yeah. You got to learn a little bit of everything.
Brother, he's got all the styles. I would not be surprised if I turn on like AAA.
He shows up.
and there's this big, tall, good-looking dude in a hood. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'll be like, wait a second. And we're watching New Japan. He's dyed his hair black, cut it all off, you know. It's like, wait a second.
Oh, goodness.
But it's some good stuff. That was funny. The horn blew, and the guy screamed, and you get little Knack
Yes.
looking back.
Yes.
It was,
and Kenny telling Eddie that if he wants him, he's going to have to go through his goons.
it was some good stuff. So what do we have next?
So after this, we had the tag team eliminator match between the Young Bucks and the Sydal brothers.
Yes. The
And
giggle.
this was basically just a showcase of the Young Bucks being heels
Yeah,
the whole time.
It was, and Matt Sydal has actually had some really good matches, and
Yes.
and that's not that's a surprise. You know, it's not a Matt Sydal has been one of the top workers in the indies for, you know, ever and a day. So that's not a real surprise. It's just it hadn't really translated to All Elite Wrestling very well, in my opinion. Not at first. You know, I don't think it's really done what it needed to do. But some of his groundwork he's been doing, and they've been putting that over, is fantastic. So, you know, this match, though, like you said, if nobody was around during the Young Bucks heel run, you know, when they're at the top of their game, Matt Jackson is freaking priceless. He is priceless. He has completely turned it on. They're fresh and new. And the best thing Nick does is during promos. Like, if you go back to the limo, when he stares at the camera, he's got this thing. I don't know what this thing is, but when he stares at the damn camera, I lose my mind, man. I'm laughing so hard inside.
Maybe it's just his face.
It's this thing. I wouldn't be able to keep a straight face. He just does this thing with his eyes where he's just kind of looking like.
It's like Merch Freak all over again.
I'm so much better than you. It is Merch Freak. It's really good stuff. But Matt, man, they talked about Michael P.S. Hayes, and
oh man,
you know, it's kind of that level over the top. You know, it's kind of that level over the top. I love it. Good stuff. But yeah, the match itself was normal. You know, Young Buck fare.
yes.
If
They did all their things.
if you will. So where'd we go there?
Although I do want to point out that the low blow near the end of the
Oh my
which
God.
was basically just a punch right to the groin.
Dude, it was beautiful.
God, it looked
It-
painful.
Between that and Nick selling to the camera, that was some good stuff. And of course, they did the BTE trigger.
Yes, to
And
win.
what a BTE trigger it was. It may have been great camera work, or they could have killed a Sydal brother.
Yeah.
Either way, it was good stuff.
And then, of course, after the match, we finally had SCU make an appearance.
SCU!
They want their shot. They're number one contenders.
They were, but, you know, they had the young boy Brandon Cutler spraying them down during this, which was great.
That's just fun.
But Kaz and Daniels came out. You know, the thing about this is I've not been into any of it. Like, ever since, it was way before they decided, you know, that they were going to break up if they.
Right.
I mean, at the time, I think, as much as I love it. Now, listen, this is big. I was a Daniels fan in Windy City Wrestling. Like, I've been a Chris Daniels fan since there's been a Chris Daniels. And the Fallen Angel was my dude, man.
Right.
I remember when he showed up. Anywhere I was watching, if Chris Daniels showed up, he was in that small little elite school of mine of people that I would go out of my way to buy tapes of and watch. And I remember buying like Jersey, you know, All Pro stuff. I remember for Low Key and stuff. I have all his old tapes, and he was one of those guys for me that I just had to study and I had to watch. So for me to ever get down on something, and I don't know if it had been shoved down my throat too much or what have you, but I was they were losing steam. And I think they knew that.
Yeah.
And they did this gimmick, and it's been very smart because they did the gimmick where they break up if they lose, but they didn't shove that down your throat. They did a lot of that on Dark.
Yeah.
And so they've really worked their way up to the number one contenders for the belts. And they came out and they did a classic promo. This promo was great.
Yeah.
They were saying, look, you're changed. You're not our friends. We wanted a match against our friends. And instead, we've got a match against a couple of fucks, basically. And, it's time to, shut up. And,
put up or shut up.
Yeah, shut up
basically.
And wrestle. And I am there for it. I am excited about it.
Yeah.
I really am. I'm excited about it because I think it'll be a great match.
It will be.
We know they have great matches.
Yeah, because they know each other so well.
And the thing we're going to get out of it, though, they're not going to beat the Bucks.
No.
They're not.
I can't see a world where that happens.
No, they're not going to beat the Bucks, not with all the interference, not with the levels that the Young Bucks will go to now. It's not going to happen. So we're going to see the breakup of SCU.
Sad.
So, but where does that go,
Yeah.
That's
I'm sure they already know.
That's some exciting stuff. But then, that damn bitch. Jade Cargill.
Yes, another Jade Cargill promo.
Yeah.
Talking about how everyone wants her, but she doesn't want any of them.
Mm-hmm. And that's a very old school thing.
Uh-huh.
So I guess WWF did this probably at least 2 times that I know of, like with Bam Bam Bigelow and somebody else. They really wanted to manage this person. At the time, they had a complement of managers, pretty much like the Who's. You had Jimmy Hart, you had Bobby Heenan, you had all Slick and all these people back then that were trying to get. And the way this gimmick always works, I think they did it with Macho Man too. I think that was one, because he ended up coming out with Elizabeth. And, Bam Bam ended up having Sir Oliver Humperdinck, like somebody that wasn't in the running both times.
Right.
So that's what excites me about that, is because you got people that want her.
Yeah.
And that normally brings out a new person.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you think it'll be someone that's already in AEW, or do you think they're introducing a new manager?
A new manager. If it's the old wrestling trope, then
it's someone we've not seen yet.
Yeah, and for her,
maybe it'll be Zelina.
I was getting ready to say it. I was getting ready to say that would be really cool.
It would be. Could just have a female faction
with
Zelina as a manager.
Well, yeah, I mean, I really think that, obviously, she's amazing.
She is. She's a great manager.
They need her.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So, I mean, and of course, they need somebody else, but I want La Sombra everywhere.
Yeah.
Can
we'll take him anywhere.
Can I just have him everywhere? Oh, I meant to mention in tidbits, and I'll just mention it here. CMLL officially ended their relationship with Ring of Honor.
Oh.
So.
Oh. Sad.
Well, yeah, kinda not. It's weird because does that put Ring of Honor on an island as far as New Japan goes too? Because New Japan said earlier this year they will never end their relationship with CMLL.
Right. Well, I wouldn't imagine that would affect them working with New Japan.
I don't know.
CMLL can't make New Japan not work with Ring of Honor, can they?
Well, no, I'm thinking, if New Japan, there's some better options probably. I mean, I'm just saying.
But
I don't know. It's weird. The reason being is everybody that we love that's in Ring of Honor that is Latino, they have their own stuff going on now, federation-wise.
Right.
And it's pretty much direct competition to CMLL because,
True.
They had the faction.
Right.
And they left town.
The original.
Yeah. So I don't know. That was just an interesting side thing. So where did we go from there? Speaking of wonderful luchadors.
Next we had Penta versus Orange Cassidy.
Oh my God.
Always a delight to see Penta and Alex.
This match.
Man, this match.
This match is one of the best matches. If you ever want to show somebody an Orange Cassidy match and you're like, I want to show them something where they really get the full complement of Orange's way of, I don't even like calling it comedy.
Yeah.
It's his style. And if you're using it as a psychology, the guy's so good that he can do this. And if we're talking in a kayfabe world, he's so good that he's going to get in your head.
Yeah.
And so the pockets and the little kicks and all that, all the cutesy stuff, is because they enjoy life. Mm-hmm. From the time you hear the theme song to him with Trent, to him with Chucky, to him, oh my God, with Statlander. When you see this happen, you just get a smile on your face.
Yeah.
As soon as you hear the first chords, you know you're in for a treat. You know you're in for something good. You know you're in for some people enjoying their job and smiling, and who doesn't love that? So this match really showcased. There's some spots in this match, such as Penta trying to do the arm break spot, and Orange close up on the facial trying to get the hand back in the pocket. And you could look at that as something funny, or you can look at it that if he gets his hand in the pocket, he can grab his pocket and you can't pull it out.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
It's like high stakes moment. You're like sitting there sweating, like, is he gonna avoid getting his arm broken?
Or the gnomes that live in his pocket can hold his arm. It's however you want to look at it is how that works.
Oh, goodness.
And of course, Alex continued to do a fantastic job as the manager.
Yes.
I've got a little bit of a hard on for managers.
I thought he was gonna get his butt kicked for a minute there.
Well, you got to keep his heat.
Yeah.
So, you can do a little bit to him, but listen, this match was just incredible. We can't say it enough. Some of the kicks, and if you guys seen Dark, was it Dark or was it Elevation where Chucky T went against Phoenix this week?
I believe that was Elevation.
And my God, does somebody owe somebody some money? Because Phoenix beat the piss out of Chucky.
Yeah.
Chucky gave it back, but when I say beat the piss out of him, you're giving your body there. And some of those kicks, man, there was some blood involved. So it's a great feud. I love it.
I love it too. And just stuff like that diving DDT and where he hit the beach break, but Penta's shoulders were up, so he couldn't get the pin.
Yeah.
And just all that stuff. And then finally he grabbed that mic from Trent and Orange punched Penta straight to hell with it.
Absolutely. Yeah, so we get Orange Cassidy with the win, and it was the right win. It was good stuff. Orange
I wonder what match
going.
We get next out of this. Do we get the 6-man?
I thought they were going to announce that for as the night went on, when they were announcing so many big matches for next week, which we'll get to. But I thought that was going to happen. But next we get to see, oh my God, the woman that all other women should be judged by, and you would all fail miserably. Britt Baker and Rebel were interviewed.
She's just such a delight.
They were interviewed by their bestie, Tony Schiavone.
Yes.
And, listen, man, it's Baker talking about how she is on top of the food chain in the merch, in the ratings, and now in the AEW Women's Division rankings, which came out earlier today.
Right.
And she was already up there, but is not seeing it. And she said she had signed to to be the face of the Women's Division, and it's time for a new champion, and Raja agrees with that.
Yeah.
So we had
I have my own thoughts on that.
We had a little statement thing last night where it just came out of nowhere. She's like, I'm ready for Shida to lose it.
Well, it's not in a mean way, though.
Yeah.
It's not because I dislike Hikaru Shida. I love Hikaru Shida. I just think it's time for a change.
Right, no.
Some momentum.
I just thought I'd put it out there, for...
You're going to get me heat.
For prosperity, Shida heat. That's a load of Shida. So, then... Oh, my God.
Oh, then we had the parlay.
I wasn't prepared for this.
No, I didn't expect it to be as intense as it was.
So sometimes Jericho's brainstorms are fantastic.
Yes. They're usually fantastic.
And sometimes they are a mimosa match.
You didn't like the mimosa match?
The mimosa match could have been a piss match, because that's what I felt like it was. Okay?
But sometimes they're the parlay.
Sometimes the parlay popped me from the time I heard the word parlay. It popped me out loud when I heard him talk about the parlay. I just seen somebody getting captured by pirates.
Yes.
And somebody requesting parlay. So this was great, fantastic. We had to do something to set up Blood and Guts, because up until this point, we really didn't know that much about, Blood and Guts. Was the feud there? Yeah, the feud's there. It's been built beautifully. The feud has been built 100%. You would watch this match if they were playing shuffleboard. You're excited about it.
Because they just hate each other that much.
But they're not playing shuffleboard. We come off a couple of good weeks of great promos going into this. So you think, you're pretty built up for this. But you weren't built up at all.
No, you didn't know what you were getting into.
You didn't know. And the way they did this, oh my God.
Goodness gracious.
They start off, man. They start off, and you've got the guys. They were paired up perfectly. They had their dance partners.
Yes.
And I love the fact that they did it with the dance partners.
Yeah.
And you had MJF giving a classic promo. You had Chris Jericho, and he started off, but I'll finish with what he finished with here, man. My God. Everything has so much emotion because you have out of everybody, I would not have expected Mr. Ty Dillinger.
Perfect 10 himself.
I would not have expected the promo that came out of his mouth.
Yeah. And
calling out Sammy.
Basically saying, we're taking the advantage. It's ours. Sorry, pal.
I mean, when Sean Spears looked at Sammy Guevara and was just doing that, saying there's not going to be a coin flip. And we all know the heels win anyway. That's just how War Games works, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. And Sammy, though, coming right back and saying, look, you sucked here. You sucked up north. You're just that guy. You have never been, those who can't teach. Mm-hmm. So you've just never been that guy, And I would have pulled my thing out and been like, do you know who my wife is?
He basically did. He was like, I'll start this match and I'll fight you. Yeah. And I'll fight you. And I'll fight the popcorn guy. And I'll fight everybody.
Well, that's what Sammy said. Yeah. I'm talking about Sean, like he was really.
Well, yeah. Sean talking about how Chris, he didn't know what he was getting into because Chris was throwing him into deep water.
I thought it was some good stuff, man. I really did. But yeah, Sammy, that was the best Sammy promo Sammy's done.
Yeah.
Because I like fighting Sammy.
Yeah, when Sammy gets pissed off, it's always a good time.
I love that. And I love the look he's had. I like leather jacket Sammy. Mm-hmm. I like wet hair Sammy. You know what I mean? I like pissed off Sammy.
He's the Spanish god again.
Yeah, because he needs to be the Spanish devil, man. He needs to be the Spanish demigod or something. But, that was good. Santana and Ortiz were getting caught out by FTR. But, that... Also, I am there for it. And you don't have to.
It gave me chills.
You don't have to have Wardlow say anything, because him and Hager can just stare at each other and you're fine. You're going to love that.
Right. But that's what they do.
When it came back down the line, Jericho calling MJF a self-righteous, self-gratifying little prick, and he talked about how MJF can't just inherit a spot.
Yeah.
And he said when Jericho was 25 years old. He'd already headlined arenas around the world in Japan and Mexico. I love that because, last week we had that. You were jerking the curtain in WCW when you're 25. He said, yeah, I was. You're right. You said that. But you didn't talk about what I did to get there. Before that, headlining. And he did, man. He headlined all of them.
Yeah.
And he went through the tournaments and he went this place. And he said, that's where I learned respect. That's where I earned a spot to do what I was doing. And that's where, I went through this and became the biggest thing in the world. I mean, and you're thinking at that time, I always say Bret Hart's the greatest to ever do it. Personally, for me. Like, I think Bret Hart's probably the greatest wrestler of all time. Mm-hmm. And I go through a lot of argument in my head over this, but I go with the fact that, for those that might want to say, Rick, I love Ric Flair just as much as anybody else, but the variety of match, right?
Right.
Bret Hart could work with anybody and have a match that suited them and brought out their best while still showcasing his best.
Right.
And it wasn't the same match ever. And that's one of the things I love about it. It didn't matter. And it's one thing Bret Hart said one time in an interview. I always size everybody up by this, always. Mm-hmm. He talked about there's 3 things that go into being a great worker.
Okay.
And, you give 10 points on each. And one of those would be your ability for promos. How well can you sell yourself? How well can you sell the match? Can you talk them into the seats?
Right.
The second thing.
It's important.
Yeah, the second thing would be your look. Whatever that look is. Now, maybe your look is you're a giant.
Right.
Maybe your look is you're, a badass. Maybe your look is you're a body guy. Mm-hmm. But your look, how, your uniqueness, your ability to stand out.
Right.
And number 3 is your work. Mm-hmm. How good of a worker are you? And, you can take some of those people. And when he was doing it, he was comparing, like, you look at Hogan, right? And you have, with his look, you probably have a 9. you know, because, I mean, his iconic look. You know, you go with his promo, and you're probably about, you know, a 8. You know, it's the same one, but you can't deny what it did.
Yeah.
And you go with his wrestling, you're at a 1.
Right.
You know, I mean, it was the big stinky.
Yeah.
You know, you know what was going on there, but you know, someone well-rounded. You know, you had, and that's what I always look at. I can't ever get that out of my head.
Right. Yeah.
Ever since he talked about it,
It's a good thing to go by.
I always think about that. And I'm always adding people up.
Right.
And you look at Jericho, and you look at, you know, his ability for promo. Okay, so when he's on, like he was on tonight, and he was fired up, and he was using real life.
Yeah.
You have to give that, man. That's about as close to a. Man, I would say his ability for promo is as close to it between a 9 and 10 as it gets.
Yeah.
You go to look, and you have to go full career here. And the way the guy's reinvented himself, the guy, you know, if you're just going on Jericho right this second, I don't know where you go with that. I still think you've got unique myself. But again, you're looking at somewhere 9 and 10. And if you go with, you know, his work, if you look, how good of a worker is Jericho? It's about as close to a 10 as you can get.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's amazing. So I look at MJF, and, you know, his work's not really been tested yet. It's not really been tested. We've had some great matches, but it's not been, we've not seen him go through the Japan tournament.
No.
We've not seen, you know, how he fared in Ring of Honor. You know what I mean? Kinda?
Yeah, like we don't know that much about him.
He's not been tested.
No.
And he's wanting this spot. So in the world, and I'm speaking strictly on the world of kayfabe here.
Right.
But when you think about those things, and you think that he was an indie darling, and that's great, and you think about the fact of what he's done in AEW with his body of work, basically his mouth has got him where he is.
Right, because he hasn't really had that many matches.
He's not done anything.
Yeah.
Really.
And you look at it.
He's not really done anything in the sport.
No.
We've given him this.
Yes.
We've allowed him to fester.
Exactly.
And it's like this boil on our ass that we've not taken care of. And
That's exactly what it is.
We've just allowed it to be there, you know?
Right.
So I think that it's time for him to really shine, man.
He's going to get tested next week.
He's going to get tested. I hope he's busted open, and I hope that it's the most violent thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And
that would be fantastic.
I would be okay with the Hills going over, honestly, just to establish them.
Right.
Because they kind of need it.
Yeah.
They need to be established.
That's scary.
But does the Inner Circle need it to show that they're still there?
True.
You know,
they still run AEW.
Yeah.
Still got it.
It's one of those things. Listen, the Jericho promo is worth watching if you don't watch anything else on the show.
I don't know how MJF can say anything about them not being a family. Like, they're the most family of every faction in the AEW.
Well, I mean, even in the promo, he said, "We are blood and guts." You know, as the Inner Circle, we've been together since day one. And if 1969 was the summer of love, 2021 is the summer of pain and violence. At Blood and Guts, summer starts early for MJF. So
he basically called out like Jake Hager saving him in Saudi Arabia,
which was cool, man. Having his back in Saudi.
Yeah, and Tana and Ortiz being vicious animals instead of lapdogs, and then Sammy quitting and coming back. Like, they've been through it all. Yeah,
that's some good stuff. It
was fantastic.
So there you go. Next week, I mean, obviously you've seen the picture. It looks like War Games, except even better because it looks like kind of a Hell in a Cell cage, like where you can go to the outside.
Yeah, it looks like there's some space in there.
Yeah, so 2 rings. You know, it's really cool.
Yes, 5 minutes for the
And
first
here's the cool
2.
thing. Even if they don't have the cage up for every match, which they won't, I guess they're just going to build the cage because they can't lower it in that place.
Yeah, no.
So they'll have to build the cage in between some promos maybe, or if they do they should have done a street fight, but just to give time to build the cage. But the thing about it is, the other matches will still have 2 rings.
Yeah.
And
They're
that's
already
cool.
going to be out there.
Because they're going to use those spots.
Yeah, definitely.
You can't be a wrestler
and see 2 rings side by side.
and see 2 rings without coming up with some spots.
Yeah, definitely.
So, good stuff. Where we go from here?
So after this, Eddie Kingston came out for his match with Michael Nakazawa, which didn't happen, by the way.
Yes. We weren't upset about that. And I love Kingston.
So basically,
I'm not doing the sports entertainment crap.
Yeah, basically Eddie threatened to break Nak's ankle if Kenny didn't get in the ring for a match, immediately. And then Mox came out. He threw Brandon Cutler out through the tunnel and attacked Kenny from behind, dragged him to the ring, and they threatened to break Kenny's ankle if Dawn didn't grant them a tag team match.
Yeah, so and once it was all said and done, we're setting up next week for a damn good, it's a tag match.
Yeah.
Kenny Omega against Moxley and Kingston.
Yeah.
And Nakazawa happens to be there. So you can just...
I think they did that so that they could basically have Kenny all to themselves.
Yeah, I mean...
it would just throw Nak in
What
there,
they need
fine.
to do is that Nakazawa got hurt during the week.
and he's got someone else.
That's the great heel thing to do.
They'll probably hurt Nak themselves.
It'd be a great
Sorry.
time. It'd be a great time to debut somebody.
Yeah.
Just say that he's hurt and they have to use somebody else, and Marty Scurll comes out because all's forgiven.
Oh, we can dream.
Yes, we can dream.
And honestly, I really love the Brandon Cutler stuff because if you watch Japanese wrestling, he's acting exactly like the young Lions.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
hilarious.
It is very, very cool.
Even getting down on a knee in the ring, like when he's not supposed to be seen and stuff. It's so funny.
No, it's fantastic. It is fantastic. What's up next?
Well, after this, there was a Taz interview that was interrupted by Christian,
Yes.
They still got that heat going on.
Yes, that happened.
Yes,
so
it did.
After that,
we had Chris Statlander versus Penelope Ford, our girl.
My God. So
Speaking of Chris Statlander.
Yeah, Statlander looked fantastic. Penelope not so much. Penelope looked like she had a little bit of rust, and she a couple times looked like she came dangerously close to botching some stuff. But Chris Statlander, I don't know what it is, but since she returned, now we were always, trust me, I squealed like a little girl live.
We did.
When I was in attendance and seeing Chris, because we got to see her in the Northeast a lot, and we loved her then. I love her now, but there's something about her now. It's like
she's like even more grown up.
I don't know what happened, dude.
She's grown into herself. I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe it's the reveal of being part reptilian that did it.
Something about her is just I don't know. There's something so alluring about her. Like
maybe because she's in the Best Friends now.
Maybe
it's
so.
It's just the whole group allure. I don't know.
It just works. It was great, and Statlander obviously gets the win.
Yes.
So that was good stuff. But it was funny because Raj is like, and Cody too. Just like, where the hell's Miro? I thought Miro wanted to kill.
Yeah, we thought. I totally thought he was coming out during this match.
Yeah,
but he didn't. He didn't show up.
And I was thinking, that's not like them. But we find out soon enough.
After that, we had a quick promo from 10 ahead of the main event talking about how he's going to win the title and bring it back to the Dark Order.
No, that really was worrying because, you don't usually have the sweet music going, unless somebody's going to go over. It's like, I was like,
and you're like, oh no.
oh no. I don't know, man. I've just not ever got on the 10 train.
Me either.
I don't know what it is.
He's not my favorite member of the Dark Order. They're pushing him, though.
The thing I talked about on the main show about sometimes people just seem like they should have a worker with them taking them to the grocery store?
Yeah.
I don't know why 10 seems that way to me. But
I'll give him this. He's a great worker, and I love his finisher. I love the full Nelson just ragdolling people around thing.
Very, very old school.
But... he's kind of meh in the character department.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because it can't be just because he's in the Dark Order because everyone else has such a personality.
Yeah.
And then you've got 10. He's just kind of there.
Then you got 10 who probably, I don't know, man.
I know he's supposed to be like the muscle guy or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I see John Silver as the muscle guy.
Yeah. 10 doesn't do it for me either. I don't
know.
Some people do, some people don't, right? And he just doesn't do it for me.
So after that promo, we got into the Nightmare Family versus the Factory, with the Factory rolling up in the Nightmare Family bus.
So here's your trivia for this week. If somebody could tell me what that Factory logo is a ripoff of.
It's killing him.
It's really bothering me because I know I've seen that F somewhere before.
Goodness.
Anyway, yeah, so this was something.
This was your standard match.
Yeah.
But what happened after the match is really the exciting part.
That's it. That's what we need to talk about.
So after the match, as QT was running away and going back to the bus, who popped out of that bus?
Well, somebody that I'm in love with. Somebody that takes me back to the young days of being a Mizark. And I don't care to say it as I look at my nightmare belt, my weight belt up here. As I think about all my Rhodes families that I have on the wall, yeah, it's the whole family that I collect. I would collect the damn dog. I would collect their postman.
How did they make a figure of the dog?
I love you, Cody Rhodes. Just putting that out there.
Yes, Cody Rhodes made his return tonight and beat the crap out of QT Marshall.
Yes, he did.
For his transgressions.
And they even went on top of the bus.
Oh, I thought everyone was gathered down there and someone was getting thrown off.
It was.
I even said, y'all better be ready to catch somebody.
Yeah, and they could have. The people that were gathered down there could have.
Yes.
But that would have been. Why did they go on top of the bus?
For the spectacle.
I mean, really,
there was no purpose.
Was it just to show the bus?
I think QT was trying to run away.
Yeah.
And Cody followed him up there, and then Aubrey followed them up there.
No, I get it, but why?
I guess he's just showing off his bus. I don't know. Look at my bus. Look how tall it is. I can get up here. I
mean, no, it's cool. It's just I don't. Do you think that's maybe foreshadowing?
Maybe.
Maybe somebody gets thrown off the bus.
Maybe. There was a little foreshadowing with that whole cowbell bull rope attack, but with Camarado.
I hope
Dustin.
that turns into a bull rope match.
Yeah, you said it during the show.
Because, listen, Dustin Rhodes, sometimes you like people because of their finisher. Sometimes you like them because of their ass.
Sometimes you like them because they bleed in every match.
I like Dustin Rhodes because Dustin started in the 80s. Dustin started back when you gigged in every match.
Right.
It's
sometimes you bleed when you don't have a match.
I call it the wrestling stigmata. and sometimes I remember seeing Butcher come to the ring and bust it open already. You know what I mean?
You're right.
It's the most beautiful thing. And it was it's just I don't know. I just love it, man. I'm there for it. It's
right.
So beautiful.
Right.
So beautiful. I gotta have it. I gotta have the bull rope match.
I'm sure they'll book it at this point.
Because Camarado looks like he came out of a 1985 wrestling show.
He does. And like a cartoon.
Yeah, he's like a total. He looks like a Northeast Hill, though. He looks like somebody that I would see wrestling in the Madison Square Garden.
Right.
In like the second match against Rene Goulet.
Right.
And I'd be bored to tears. But he looks like one of those guys. He's got that Northeast look to him.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know. I want to see it, man.
I'm sure they'll book it. So speaking of beautiful things,
Yes.
AEW delivered on our questions and showed us
On
Kip.
your questions. I was fine. I was like, I trust Tony Khan.
They showed us Kip in the back going to talk to Miro.
Yes.
Which was a bad idea on his part. So basically he
Miro
went in.
beat the fuck out of him. I mean, there
decimated
there is working, and then there's beating the fuck out of somebody.
Uh-huh.
And he beat the fuck out of him.
Slamming their arm in a door.
Yeah, well, not even that. It's just how hard you throw somebody into something.
Right.
There was I saw his soul come out the side of his ear a couple times. And
yeah, but the scariest part was him like petting him at the end, like I forgive you. I understand.
Oh my God,
that's just creepy.
It's the most beautiful thing. It's the most beautiful thing. I love the hugging somebody and just being like,
so creepy.
Shh.
He's psycho.
You see what you made me do? I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it.
No.
It's so beautiful to me.
Kip doesn't deserve this.
Kip shouldn't have worn the dress.
We're just going to move right along from that real quick to the main event.
That main event.
For the TNT title.
Oh my God.
Darby Allin versus 10.
They had me scared. Because even the symbology,
Uh-huh.
if Darby won this, how many TNT title defenses would he have?
Right.
How many?
He would have 9.
Oh, I thought it was 10. I thought he already had 9.
Well, I think after the match they said that he had 9 now.
Well, you ruined my whole gimmick.
I'm sorry. I was listening.
No,
they made it sound like earlier in the match that if he won this, he would have 10. But then after the match, JR said he had 9 now.
Well,
So
JR's probably wrong.
I don't know.
I'm pretty damn sure that Excalibur was the one that said.
If he has 10 wins now after facing 10,
so
I'll be so happy.
Just do some talking because I'm going to look this up.
Okay. Well, basically this match was them throwing each other around the whole time.
When I said do some talking, I meant like actually talking about the match.
I'm sorry, you threw me in the deep end. You're the one that usually talks about the match. So there was a spot that I really liked in this match, actually, near the end, where 10 got the full Nelson in, and I was like, oh, that's his finisher. It's over. It's going to end.
It looked like it.
But Darby hooked his hands under his own leg to pull himself out of the full Nelson, and then when he couldn't do that, he climbed up on the corner and kicked himself over to roll 10 up into the pin, which was just beautiful. In my opinion. I loved it.
Yeah.
But then we had Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page just do their thing, trying to get Darby's belt and beating him up. And, Lance Archer coming out. And I still don't understand the Lance Archer connection with Sting and Darby.
Yeah.
And I don't know where it's going. But, I guess we'll find out eventually.
I've just got how many days that they had it, and
not defenses.
No, I've got the days on that, and not the defenses. There's a title history. Now it's the same thing. It's that's not cool. Why would they do that to me?
Tell us the actual number of defenses, please.
Yeah, let's see. 2 reigns. Oh, Jesus, 171 plus days. Darby has the longest reign.
Well, yeah, he's had it like basically the entire time.
Trying to see here with
he's had it this whole year. Didn't you say there haven't been any title changes this calendar year?
Yeah, there's not been a title change the whole calendar year. And so let's see. I was really curious here. I was wanting to see how many. That's just the whole thing. I don't know. I'll have to do some research on that now and find out. I thought he was going for number 10 against number 10. And
I thought that too.
I thought that was
that's
cool.
why it confused me.
Yeah. So, good stuff. But I know I got to talk. Oh, my God. I'll let you do it. This is some good shit.
About next week.
We got to talk about this. So, fans, folks, friends, enemies, frenemies. Next week, A&W presents. You like that?
Mm-hmm.
I did the A&W. Because I always wanted.
Root beer.
Yeah, I always wanted to be smooth just like that. They're my cream soda of wrestling. But next week we got Blood and Guts.
Oh man.
It's Blood and Guts. It's a pay-per-view with commercials. And it is going to be fantastic. And
it is.
If the Blood and Guts match itself didn't have you up enough,
oh man.
Tell them what they get, Raja.
So along with Blood and Guts, you get Cody Rhodes versus QT Marshall.
That's going to be a banger because
you screwed me over match.
It's going to end up on the bus and somebody getting thrown off the bus.
I hope so.
I'm predicting that one. And if they do that before Blood and Guts, that gives you time to do the cage.
There you go, because they're out of the arena.
Yeah, absolutely.
We also get to see Kenny and Knack versus Mox and Kingston.
Yes, and again, we talked about that. It'll be a great match. If Kenny's involved in it, he's going to make sure it's a great match.
Yeah, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about
right.
it. Sorry. And then we also get to see Britt Baker in action. They haven't told us what she's going to be doing.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, no.
It's DMD, baby.
Yes.
DMD.
And then, kind of exciting, we get a 4-way tag team eliminator match to see, I guess, who faces the Young Bucks next. And that's between SCU, Jurassic Express, the Varsity Blondes, and the Acclaimed.
So let me ask you a question.
Uh-huh.
Can they lose matches like that?
I don't think so. I don't think they're allowed to lose at all.
So why do they even have to be in that match? They're the number one contenders.
I am not sure. I guess the Young Bucks are being heels and they're like, nope, you have to... I
was just wondering.
You have to fight for it.
They obviously agreed to it.
Yeah.
So, that's fine. It's just,
They wanted another big match.
The
Blood and Guts.
varsity blondes, I'm cool with. I just wish they would figure out their finisher. Like they need like their double drop kick.
Yeah.
They need their heart attack. They need to have their finisher.
They need something.
And
Anything.
it's like their finisher on Dark the other night was horrendous.
It's like they can't get it exactly right.
Yeah, it's a bit awkward. They're almost there, and I like them.
Yes.
It's just they're almost there. The Acclaimed is, they're great.
We love them.
We absolutely love them. I hate that Top Flight's hurt
Oh, no.
because Top Flight would be my pick.
Yeah.
And Jurassic Express, come on. Even though
Who doesn't love a boy and his dinosaur?
Even though I'm at the point now where I want the boy to be by himself.
Yeah. We want Jack Perry to happen.
Yeah. I mean, I think he needs to be a singles wrestler.
He will be.
And I think Luchasaurus would be fine on his own.
Yeah.
So
big man doing big man things.
Yeah. I think it'd be fine. But I do love the dynamic with them all together. They're great together.
Yes.
And it's over. So
Yes.
SCU will probably win this.
I would imagine so.
Yeah.
Because it would seem weird to have this whole buildup of them possibly breaking up, not to give them the tag team championship match.
Wouldn't that be fucked up? Wouldn't that be funny for them?
Like they never get the match.
For them to lose next week, and then
God.
Yeah. So great stuff. And then if you listen to our main show, which I would imagine you do if you're listening to this,
we have to throw this in there just because we talked about it so much
2 weeks.
the other day.
Tell them what they're getting in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks, you are getting for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship, Jon Moxley versus Yuji Nagata
Yeah.
on Dynamite.
So
Another New Japan wrestler.
Yeah.
Defending a New Japan title.
Yeah. So that's a cool thing. It's very cool when you look at the fact of it being, on AEW,
Yeah.
a New Japan championship being defended on AEW. Come on, people.
It's amazing.
And not only that, you're getting one of the Office guys from New Japan.
Yeah.
I mean, let's call it
A
what it is.
legend.
Let's just call it what it is. You're getting Yuji Nagata, and of course he's somebody that's been on Nitro and stuff before. I mean, it's you're getting somebody that's familiar and everything. This is the thing that got shot on me.
Yeah.
Roger went in business for herself.
We did quite a bit of talking about this and how we don't understand why this was the challenge.
Oh my God.
That Mox threw out. But that being said, I imagine it'll be the opening match, and I'm sure it'll be good.
It will be. It'll be fantastic. And it's the coolest part to this is it's happening on AEW.
Yes, that gives it a whole new level
It
of
did.
coolness.
If this was something on Strong,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And even if he had traveled all the way to Japan for this,
Yeah, it would still be kind of meh.
yeah,
Because it would be in Japan.
yeah.
But the fact that he's defending this title on AEW makes it that much cooler.
And Nagata's going to wear his working boots.
Yes.
I mean,
He is a legendary wrestler.
it's
so
going to be great, man.
It is. I agree.
It really is. So I'm excited. And that was your AEW. Man, I tell you, the April 28th edition.
Yes.
It was way better than advertised.
It was better than it deserved to be.
There you go. There you go. And aren't we all? But I'm telling you right now, we'll be back very soon, quicker than a
Yes.
hiccup, because we're going to have the full show with you. And on our actual proper show, where we do, editing, we're going to do a deep dive. And that deep dive will be looking into all the matches we just talked about. You're going to be seeing on Blood and Guts. And we're going to be, talking about the stories behind those matches, building up to it, what, possible outcomes and what that may mean for each one of the people involved. And we'll have all your normal news and reviews of everything that's going on.
A stellar week coming up because you've got Wrestling Dontaku coming up this week and Blood and Guts, and it's just going to be so much fun.
So be looking forward around the first of the week before next week's Dynamite. And
Yes.
of course, you get the new episode normally and Dynamite kind of like a bang bang deal. But that's how we like it, because we like to get everything, you know, that happens over the weekend if possible.
Yes.
To bring to you guys. And of course, like she said, there's a lot of cool New Japan stuff happening. And if you haven't been tuning in to the New Japan Strong show, you need to. It's 100% wrestling, no bullshit kind of stuff. So it's really good stuff. But for the lovely and mysterious Raja, I hope you've enjoyed this review. I'm John Hawkins. Love y'all. See you later.
Bye.